So this is my Crested Gecko. He is a Harlequin, and his name is Quentin. I got him at Repticon, and he's pretty. But I'm just going to kind of talk about some little basic care guide for Crested Geckos. So this is his enclosure, and it's a custom built terrarium. It's about 12 by 12 by 20. It's like all non-toxic and plexiglass and a screen lid thing. And so I'm just like gonna talk about some basic stuff, like temperature, lighting, humidity, food, and the setup of the habitat. So optimal temperature range for a Crested Gecko is anywhere between 75 and 80, or 65 to 80. You don't want to exceed 80, but the most, optimal temperature is going to be about 75. I have a digital thermometer, and it's reading about 78 right now. And yeah, so you don't want to get them too hot. Like anything above 80 degrees for an extended period of time, especially upwards of 85 or higher, can cause severe stress and can kill your Crested Gecko. So you don't want to exceed 80 usually, and so it's best just to keep them kind of cool. They don't need any heat lamps because 65 to 75 is usually room temperature, so you don't need any heat lamps as long as the room your Crested Gecko is in stays around 65 to 75. You're good. And as far as like UVB, they're nocturnal in the wild, so they don't need any UVB lights. But if you are going to have a light on your enclosure so that you can view it better and more pretty, I would just recommend going ahead and just getting a UVB, like a 5.0 UVB, like for tropical reptiles, because it doesn't emit as much UVB as the desert UVBs. And UVB is good even for nocturnal reptiles like Crested Geckos, because it stimulates their behavior and their appetite, and all of that. And it gives them a more realistic day and night cycle. So UVBs are good. And then, so as far as humidity, you want to do a light misting in the morning and a heavy misting at night, like where they're from naturally. They're subtropical, so they don't need to stay damp or high humidity all day and all night. It's best that it naturally drops to a lower humidity level, like throughout the day. So like right now my humidity is about 70 or so, because I just misted it, which normally I don't do, but it was like 30 or 20 before I misted it. So that's like misting. Then as far as food, they are arboreal, so they don't like to really come down to eat unless they're hunting for crickets. They do like to eat crickets. Feeding them a few crickets like once a week is good. Give them their protein. And then to feed them some sort of meal replacement powder, such as Repashy is a pretty good brand. I mean, there's also T-Rex and some other brands out there, but I think Repashy is probably the best formulated. And then if you can get like a dish that you could stick high up on the enclosure, like I have this little leaf suction cup thing to put his repishi in. You can also get like the magnetic ones. Anything to just get the food off of the ground will increase the likelihood that they'll actually eat it. And as far as water goes, they're dew-lapping reptiles, so they typically drink water from the dew that's accumulates when you're misting. And you can leave a water dish in there for them, but typically they just drink the water off of the leaves. And plus they get it from their meal replacement powder, which you mix with dechlorinated water. And as far as habitat setup, this is a custom-built enclosure, and it's like 18 by 18 by 20 or so, and you can get like the Exoterra ones and stuff like that, which are good. But being arboreal, they're definitely going to want something has more height than length, since they want to have plenty of space to climb. And then when you set up the leaves and stuff, you want it to kind of resemble like a tree canopy. Like I got a piece of grape wood in there, and I just draped it with a bunch of faux plants and stuff, just to give them plenty of hiding spots within the leaves. And the substrate, there is tile underneath, which is good because it helps keep it cool. And I use paper towels instead of eco-earth and all that to just reduce bacteria, to reduce mold and all that nasty stuff. So it makes it pretty easy to clean. And once a week I like to take everything out and soak and disinfect all his leaves and his branches in a disinfectant that is safe for reptiles, like chlorhexidine, or you can also find on PangeaReptile.com a veterinary grade disinfectant that is harmless to reptiles. Don't use bleach, even diluted bleach. So yeah, and that's pretty much that. Thanks for watching.